All right, this is our final call of the One Thing Book Club. We're going over the last 3 chapters, and Mark is about to lead us into a fun little exercise.
All right, so some of you guys have done this with me before, some of you have not, but what I want to do as we tackle these last 3 chapters is actually go backwards. So I'm going to start with the last chapter 18, which is the journey, and then work backwards into the 4 thieves, and then work backwards into
Commitment.
the 3 commitments. So what I want to do is at first in chapter 18, Gary says probably my favorite aha from the book is on page 216. He says, "You are the lead domino." It's at the very bottom of the page. You are the lead domino. Sorry, you are the first domino is technically what it says. Jenny's yelling at me. So what I want to do is I want to just give you guys hey Angel, I want to give you a quick opportunity to do something that I think is incredibly powerful. It's been massively impactful for Jenny and I. It may be a little bit awkward for you, but I would love for you to play along. And if you don't want to play along, just sit there. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a priming exercise. So Amanda, have you done a priming exercise before? Okay. Has anybody done a priming exercise before?
Oh, probably not calling it that, but
this is going to be so good. All right. So I'm totally ripping this off of Tony Robbins. It will take us 10 minutes and it may be a little uncomfortable, but feel free that you can put your stuff down. You want to get in a position where you can sit, where you're in something that's not going to be super bouncy. Like if you're in a recliner, it's okay. Couch is fine. I always like to be on a hard chair. And then what you want to do is you want to get to the point to where you can easily set your hands on your lap. That's important. And Angel, you may not be able to do it because I know you have your little boy running around. So you may just get to watch. And then you could do it later because we'll share the recording with you guys and you can go through it that way.
Do you want me to mute everybody?
Sure.
Okay.
So it's a closed eye experience. We're going to leave you guys muted so that way if the kids speak up, it's not the end of the world. It's a closed eye experience. If you can participate even for just a little bit, it's good. We're going to start off, this is 3 phases. The first phase is you're going to just literally start to engage with energy. There's a specific way to do that. You're going to keep your eyes closed the entire time. Then what we're going to do is we're going to move into a moment of gratitude. And then we're going to move into what I call future casting. So it's really powerful. Do what you can do. If you can't play along the whole time, that's fine. Just watch Jen and I, and then you can do it later when your kids are asleep and you have some time. I do this every day when I get to work. It's the first thing that I do. And I do it that way because of what the book says. Gary says, hey, when you start to energize yourself first, it carries through the rest of the day. Okay, you ready? So all you're going to do is we're going to start off. We're going to put our hands up in the air and we're going to, with our eyes closed, you're going to breathe out and you're going to snap your elbows down and then you're going to go back up. So we're going to do 3 sets of 10, but your eyes are going to be closed. So it'll look like this. You might want to blow your nose, or you might want to turn your camera off because if you don't blow your nose, you should blow hard enough that boogers will come out. That's the goal.
It's true.
So
it's true.
We're just going to do it and I'll tell you when to stop and I'm just keep your eyes closed. I'm going to guide you through audibly what we're doing. Good. Thumbs up for everybody that can do this. Perfect. All right, here we go. So we're going to put your hands up in the air, close your eyes, and you're going to snap your elbows down and breathe out as hard as you can. Ready? Go. All right, stop. Keep your eyes closed. Place your hands on your lap, palms facing up, and just feel your body. Keep breathing, feel your body. Do you notice any tingling anywhere in your body? Possibility of peace. You feel centered. Maybe even just a little bit happy, just because you want to feel happy. We're going to do another 3 sets of 10. Keep your eyes closed. Bring your hands up into the air. Snap your elbows down. Breathe out and go. Stop. Put your hands on your lap, palms facing upward. Just feel your body. Do you feel any tingling? Possibility of peace? Feel your center. I'm going to do 3 more sets of 10. This time I want you to enjoy it. I want you to act like you're reaching up to grab energy and snapping it down inside. And give yourself a little smile as you do it. Here we go. 3 sets of 10. Go. Relax your hands on your lap, palms facing upwards. Do you notice any possibility of peace? Do you feel your center? Any tingling anywhere in your body? Just feel your body. For a moment, take both hands and place them over your heart and just feel the power of your heart. Breathe deep into your heart and feel the blood rushing in and through your heart. Give thanks for your heart. It's a gift. You didn't have to work for it. You didn't have to earn it. It was a gift given to you at birth, and as long as it beats, you live. Feel the power of your heart, the rhythm of your heart. Give thanks for your heart. As you touch and hold your heart, I want you to think of one memory in your life that if you wanted to, you could be thankful for. Any memory, from recent, big or little, doesn't matter. Just find one memory to be grateful for. Hear what you heard. Step into the moment right now. See what you saw. Give thanks for that moment right now. Think of a second moment now that you could give gratitude for. If you really wanted to, what's a moment that if you really wanted to, you could be so grateful for, little or big? Enjoy it. Think of a third moment now. What's a coincidence? What's something that happened to you that changed your life for the better? It's not something you earned. It's something that happened. It was a coincidence. It was a gift. Think of that moment now. Step into it. Feel what it felt to be there again now. Rest your hands back on your lap. Keep your eyes closed. And I want you to think of a blue dot extending from the top of your head. And imagine like a white light is being poured into the top of your head, and it flows all the way down your neck, your shoulders, into your stomach, down into your legs, into your feet, down through the bottom of the feet of your feet to the center of the earth. Then it loops back and it comes right back up through your feet, your calves, your legs, your torso, your arms, shoulders, neck, back to the top of your head. Imagine this light is pouring through your body. And ask whatever you believe to be a higher power, whether it's God, the universe, life, God, to heal. Heal your bones, your body, your muscles, your thoughts. Just breathe like a white light of healing was being poured in and through your entire body, down through your legs, back to the center of the earth and back up, and think healing. Healing for my bones, my muscles. Now, as that white light pours through, think solve. Solve whatever needs to be solved between you and others, whether it's your thoughts, your mentality, your position, your outlook, solve whatever differences may be happening between you and others. And breathe like that white light of solution is flowing through your body. Think strengthen. Strengthen whatever is already great inside of you. My love, my passion, my generosity, my curiosity, my joy, my laughter. Strengthen that. Strengthen what is good inside of me. And breathe as that white light is just pouring into your body. And celebrate as if everything that needed to happen for you is already happening. As that light pours through, think heal, solve, strengthen, celebrate, and then serve. Think in concentric circles of this white light flowing out of your heart to those you care most about, your lovers, your children, your coworkers, colleagues, friends, family. Just think heal, solve, strengthen, celebrate, serve. And now for a minute or two, I just want you to think about your life. I want you to think about your life being as big as it possibly could be. Think about your income doubling or tripling. Dream as big as you've ever dared to dream, and then some. Can you see it? Dream bigger. What does that look like? Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. How was that? I want to start with that because it's a very simple activity that you can do to quickly find peace. And your outlook on the world is defined by your disposition or the state that you're in. And the faster that you can go into a place of gratitude for these moments that happen to us or that are just a part of our lives, little or big, the faster and the better that we can be living in a state of gratitude. It's impossible to be grateful and pissed
At the same time.
at the same time. It's impossible to be grateful and angry. It's impossible to be grateful and have limited thinking. When you come up from a place of gratitude, the world opens up. And so if what Gary says is true, that you are the first domino, then you have to take care of you first. And something as simple as 5 or 10 minutes, even if you don't do the whole activity, if you just took a few minutes and thought about what's one thing I could be grateful for in this moment, your disposition changes, your state changes, your outlook changes, and your results start to change. Right? We don't react to the same stimulus the same way all the time. Right? If you're laughing with your kids and I don't know, something bad happens, you're more likely to let it roll off or at least find a solution on how to fix it. But if you came home and you got fired that day and you're upset with your spouse and then the same event happens, you're probably going to go outside and punch somebody, right? I mean, this is true. It doesn't matter what the event is, the stimulus is, it's with a state that we're in that determines how we react. So if Gary says, hey, you are the first domino, then guess what? You have to take care of yourself first. So I'm going to unmute you guys real fast if I could figure out how to do that. Participants. Unmute everybody. When you guys go on a plane ride, there's that stewardess or steward gets up
Flight
at the front of the plane.
attendant.
And
Flight
what do they
attendant.
say if the cabin pressure is changing? What happens?
Masks come down.
The masks come down, and then what do you do?
Put it on your spouse.
Put it on you first, because you can't help people around you unless you take care of you. And so we hear this all the time, but we don't ever live by this. We are totally sucky at living by this idea of, I have to take care of me first so I can show up in my key relationships. I have to take care of me first so I can show up for her. I have to take care of me first so I can show up for her, so I can show up for the kids. Right? That's not how we're programmed to live. I got to do the things for the kids, then I got to show up for my spouse. And then if there's anything left over, then maybe I'll do something for me. And you've got to flip that script, because the world needs you to show up in your top tier form so that way you can bring your best to every other area of your life. And for some of you, it's going for a run. For some of you, it's just, for me, it's just that little priming exercise, massively different, massively different. So when we talk about this stuff and we understand that we're the lead domino, when I read the chapter that is the 4 thieves, as we revisit those 4 thieves, they are the inability to say no, the fear of chaos. So the inability to say no is I have to say yes to everything, or saying yes to too many things. Fear of chaos is like, if I get really, really, really big and I get really, really successful, life's going to get crazy, and I like things orderly and neat. You guys know anybody like that?
That's totally mine.
Yeah. 3 is poor health habits. And then the 4th is your environment don't support your goals. And what I want you to understand is that if you really truly grasp that you are the lead domino, what I hear in those 4 thieves is this one thought that you guys might want to write down. Here's how I summarize it. You need to care more about the people inside of your house than the people on the outside. If you care more about the people on the outside of your house, you will never be able to say no to the things you need to say no to. You will always be afraid of how chaotic life will be. You will continue to make poor health habits, and you will always have an environment that doesn't support your goals because you're saying yes too much. But when you understand, hey, my purpose is this thing, and I get crystal clear on that, this whole chapter about, or this whole section about saying no, you understand that it becomes very easy to make that one yes justified by 1,000 no's. Life gets simpler. If I know that I'm only going to be intimate with this woman, then it gets very easy to say no to every other woman that wants to be intimate with me. There's not a lot of them, so it's okay. My point is, as I say yes to her, does it get easier or harder to say no to every other person out there on the planet? Right? So just working this backwards. And the last thing that I want to wrap up is in chapter 16, we talk about this E to P model. The E to P model is the entrepreneurial to purposeful model. So the entrepreneurial model means I'm going to do everything as naturally as I can. I'm going to let my natural abilities carry me as high as they can go. And then I hit the ceiling of achievement and I feel 4 emotions. And you guys know these because you've seen them in somebody else, probably not yourself though. Number 1, disappointment. I thought I could do better and I just can't hit. I'm bouncing off the top of the box. Boom. I thought I could go higher than that. And then I turn the corner. I get really resigned. Well, nobody can do it. It's COVID. Like the whole world's falling apart. My boss sucks, whatever. And then they look for greener pastures. Well, if I went and did that business, or if I changed that career, or if I went and got that boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever, life would get better. And then what happens? Well, I'm on my uptrack. Boom. Oh, there's no good guys out there in the world. I understand what my natural ability will allow me to do. And I'm going to get focused. I'm going to look for models and I'm going to follow the systems to help carry me past and break through that ceiling of achievement. So let's rewind this whole call. You start off with doing something as simple as taking care of yourself every single day. You recognize that you have to take care of yourself first, so that way you then can show up differently for your business, for your family, for whatever that may be. You put the mask on yourself, you take care of your body, you get very clear on your priorities and your purpose and your goal, and then you attack it with laser-like focus, building models and systems around that so that way you can continue to carry on farther and farther and have massive results. That's the book. And I talked for way too long. Give me some feedback. What do you guys think?
I think if you watch the Shark Tank, Okay, anybody seen that?
Yep.
Okay, so I don't watch much of it, but my dad does. And he tells me all about it, so I feel like I've watched it more than I actually have. But anyway, basically the word entrepreneur is used rather liberally today. It wasn't even a word that most people knew 40 years ago. And I think people use it like you get, some guy with I see this in construction and in the service trade all the time. I have a pickup truck and a tool belt and a buddy who, can help me out nights and weekends. I'm an entrepreneur. No, you're a guy with a pickup truck. And you see these guys come on Shark Tank who, come up with a good idea. They come up with a good invention, or they came up with a mediocre invention and they have a degree from Harvard. The true entrepreneurs, you can tell the difference. They think differently. They talk differently. Even if they don't have the degree, they understand into it. Even if they haven't encountered an idea, when they do encounter it, they internalize it differently. There's I never totally understood the E to P thing because
Jaden, I said that you could play, but you have to stay in your room, remember?
I never totally understood
Forgot I
the
was
E to
muted, I'm so
P,
sorry.
but I think it's because most people believe they're entrepreneurs, but most of them aren't.
Yeah, and
I don't know if I'm making sense here, but anyway.
The biggest difference between the entrepreneur on the E2P model that Gary will tell you, if you ever sit and listen to Gary teach any of his classes about this, which he always works it into, the biggest difference between an entrepreneur in this model and the purposeful person is, if you can summarize it in one word, well, let me ask you, there's 4 things. What do you think the 20% is? Focus, models, systems, or breakthroughs? What's the one thing that makes the biggest difference that drives someone to be purposeful as opposed to entrepreneurial?
What's the 4th one?
Focus, models, systems, or breakthroughs?
I think focus.
Okay. What do you guys think? Williams?
For me, it would be systems.
Systems. Okay. What do you guys think? No wrong answers, no judgment.
I think systems too.
I think if you're truly focused,
hold on one second,
on the right things,
what do you think, Donnie? I can't hear you. Breakthrough. So Gary would tell you that it's systems, because what he says is if you ever do anything more than twice, create a system around it, and then what you have is something that will almost run on autopilot. And if you think entrepreneurial is how far I can go myself or naturally, systems are those things that allow you to do those exact same things faster, and they launch you up into the stratosphere.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one part of this model that he says, if you can grasp onto, use the systems. And the reason he puts models and systems together is because 9 times out of 10 successfully excludes. We read about that in an earlier chapter. Go find the people who have already done it, model after them, and incorporate those same systems so that way you just take off. Whatever the business is, whatever the relationship is, doesn't make a difference. Find out what works, build a system around it. How do I make sure that I always show up for my date with Jenny? Well, I block off the time. That's the system. So let me ask you guys as we wrap this thing up, because we got about 3 minutes. What's the one thing that you're going to take away from this book?
From the whole book?
The whole book. One thing.
Amanda, what were you saying?
I'm the lead domino.
You're the lead domino. Love it.
Yes, you need to write that somewhere.
Yeah, write that on your forehead.
I'm gonna ask you for a picture of it.
Or the mirror. Sharpies work well.
The question mark on the back.
Okay, tell
just
me
kind
more.
of stands out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Donnie, Angel?
Focusing question.
That's the one thing you can do. Such by doing everything else becomes easier and necessary. Love it.
My
multitasker mind wants me to just pick out all kinds of different things.
Right?
And just remember all of it. That one resonated with me, not to be a multitasker. focus on one thing, be successful at one thing, and don't be afraid to put all of your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
I like what Amanda said. It's Amanda, right? With the you are the lead domino, because that's kind of what I've been trying to do. Like, I don't necessarily have it all together, but like I want to turn myself into the kind of person that when the opportunity does present itself, I can take advantage of it. So I'm focusing on becoming the right kind of person rather than accomplishing specific. The goals are just all about being appropriate in the moment rather than the accomplishing of the goals themselves.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think that was one thing for me, was being appropriate in the moment. That it's so easy to feel like a failure when you don't hit the goal, but then you have to realize, like, I'm not the same person I was when I started this journey, and that in itself is worth more than hitting the goal. For me though,
Yeah.
my one thing from this book was that time, you're spending it or investing it. Like, we think of our money that way so easily, and I was taking my time for granted. Like, we're either spending it and it's just kind of wasting away, not doing anything for us, or we can choose to invest it. So the time that I'm with my kids, am I making it mean something? When he and I are having a conversation, am I engaged, making my time count for something, instead of just, tick, 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 all those, check marks in the check boxes that I love.
Yeah, mine's at 20%. So Donnie, like you, I tend to want to go and find all these things that I can be doing, and what I'm always trying to be intentional around is asking myself, what's the 20% right here? So of all the things I could be doing for lead generation inside of my business, what's the 20%? And all the conversations we could be having, what do we need to be discussing? Like what's the 20%? And just continuing to drive down on that thing, it is making a difference. I'd say it's making a big difference.
Yeah, actually, while I do love the focusing question, I actually think mine, the one thing from the book would be actually doing one goal at a time. Which, by the way, I finished my number one goal for my number one annual goal today for the year. I had been actually starting on the second one, and I had been like, oh, well, you don't really need to finish like that last beat of the first one. Like, that's really not at like the important part, because it was doctor visits. And I was like, well, that doctor's not a big deal. And I was just like, oh my God, how long is it going to take to make an appointment and go to the appointment? Just do it. And so I had my last doctor appointment today.
That's awesome.
Which was the
I think
dentist.
we should make that a goal for us. I love that idea.
I should make that a goal. I haven't seen a dentist in like 5 years.
I can beat that. It was longer for me.
It's probably been longer for me.
Pathetic. It was pathetic. Yeah. So it was just like, it was due every single doctor that I could possibly come up with. Like, I even went to a dermatologist just in case, just because people were like, hey, it's good to check it out. I'm like, sure, I'll do that too. And I had a list. So
I'll have to see what my insurance covers. That's not a bad idea.
Guys, we are super grateful for y'all trudging through this thing with us for the whole 6 weeks here. And 6 weeks?
I think it was longer. I don't know. It was long.
Was it longer than that, Amanda?
It was 7, I believe.
7, perfect. Well, either case, we're really grateful that you guys decided to walk through this with us. We really hope that you guys have gotten as much out of it as we have, and continue to go back and revisit this thing over time, because your thing will change and you'll forget things and remember it. So I would encourage you, if you didn't read it, go back and finish this last section, but then just go in the front couple pages and just take notes. So that way you can keep pulling the 20% in a 5-minute increment rather than having to read the whole book again. So,
yeah, there were things that I saw that I didn't remember the first time. I was like, oh, yeah.
Gary says when you read something once, that's just practicing, because you begin to master and you've read something 10 times or more.
It's probably very true. I have a couple books that I do that with.
So,
I find that whenever I read a book, like, you remember a lot the first day if you're telling somebody all about it. But if you tell them a week later, you tell them, 10% of it. And then you end up like, especially if you read, if I tell you about, I read some really deep history books, about the founding of our country. And you know what? I'm going to really come out with I read them less than a year ago, and I can basically tell you like 3 solid, interesting things that sort of encapsulate the book, and the rest of it you got to read yourself, because there was so much, but so there's a, what are you going to take, like, if you didn't touch any of this for a year, like what would you remember a year from now?
Yeah.
And I
Just
think the
some
Pareto
housekeeping
principles.
stuff for you guys. So obviously on the weekend of the 13th to the 15th, that's the goal setting retreat. If you guys are still interested in going, if you haven't already paid for it, I do still have the affiliate link, which will get it for cheaper. I just got that. Jenny actually just sent it over to me, not just Jenny, the other Jenny. And then there's a 66-day challenge that's going to be starting after the first of the year. So if you guys
Get a
want
shirt.
to do a 66-day challenge with the entire community, which is like hundreds of people, I think Charlie and Angel have both done. I know Angel did. Charlie, I'm not sure if you've done it before or not, but that's coming up in January. And then of course there's the One Thing podcast that you guys can go listen to, and that will just take these concepts and break them down and how people actually live it out. Really super helpful. There's tons of resources, guys. So if you guys have questions, by all means, let us know. We're happy to be a resource for you guys. We love you all. We're grateful for you. And we'll let you run on to your night. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Bye,
Night.
See ya.
guys.